the bridge over the Kaduna River. From that point upwards is the Christian territory.
Southern.
Yes, so it's like that bridge is the natural boundary. Over the matter of Sharia, early into this democratic dispensation, more than 1,000 people were killed, fighting on both sides, killing each other because of Sharia or religion. So Kaduna is extremely divided. You will find Christians who will go and live inside Tudunwada. They simply see those places as places meant for Muslims, while places like Sabon Tesha and the rest, they believe that is for Christian. Television Village, all of those places, I believe those ones are for. It shouldn't be, but that, you see, now we have a governor who is now trying to change the whole narrative. He's trying to make people see that in Kaduna, the people can be united around a common cause. Religion should no longer divide people in Kaduna State. And this is what Obasani is trying to do. I would have been disappointed if we didn't do something like this, because Obasani has a very rich background as an activist, along with Shehu Sani and the rest of them. They fought for democracy. You are not supposed to be a bigot and occupy that position. So it's really impressive to see him sit with them. Khan used to be demonized, call names. Well, here is a governor sitting with them, attending the carol service. Maybe the next time they will even read one of the 9 lessons. Who knows? And you can see, he's saying, look, that I won't even mind for you to come and hold the carol service in Government House. I mean, what else can you ask for from a Muslim governor? We are one people. And those two religions, they both came from the same part of the world, from the Middle East. And the similarities in the two religions, the similarities are striking. Yet we continue to kill ourselves, Christian killing Muslim, Muslim killing Christians. For what? So I would like to encourage Governor Obasani to continue to toe this path of equity, religious harmony, and let him continue to set the right example for our people. So now Kaduna, this Kaduna right now has a Christian as a speaker. You know, the speaker of the state lost at the appeal court. So they now have a Christian as a speaker. It's been a very long time since that last happened. Apart from that, you now have the Inland Revenue Service. The man who heads the Inland Revenue Service is also a Christian. So good things are happening. This is what I can say.
The last administration, you know, it was so daring that at a point in time, the man didn't even bother to think about religious balancing again. He was just doing his thing, and that aggravated the animosity between the southern and the northern part of the state.
Yeah, that's why I salute the move made by the present governor. Because I doubt if the former governor is in line, you know, it's in tandem with what is doing now. But I'm happy. It has to be done. You know, when you're a governor of a state, you're supposed to unite your state and not divide it.
Yes.
You know, when he was the governor, he did it with impunity. And seeing the present governor doing this shows that he was not in line with, you know, he was not happy with what he was doing. Because really, it doesn't pave way for development. You can't develop the state when you divide it, you know, on ethnic and religious lines. And you expect things to change. You know, so I listened to the governor, Obasani, and he was saying, when we were growing up, We used to go for carols, and my dad was even, used to encourage us to go for such. Yeah. Because then there was no division. We all sit in the same classroom. We eat this, from the same plate. We do things together. And then suddenly you're hearing this one is this one is that. Created by one man. And it's out now. Unite the states and see if peace will reign. This harmony.
Development.
Yes, it will happen. I don't know what happened with El-Rufai that he has to do that.
If you see in Kaduna, that division has even caused a kind of imbalance in terms of growth and development of the two.
It will.
One part is growing geometrically, the other part, that is economically, the other part is not happening because people are scared to go there. That should not happen. It's one state, one people. I really hope that Governor Obasani can even take this further. Let the people feel comfortable. A different governor, the moment, governors want to determine who is speaker. The moment that person lost his seat, the speaker, he will have been insisting that they should vote for another Muslim.
If it was,
but he let the deputy, he encouraged them to allow their deputy,
for a reason,
the deputy to continue. So we now have
it must be balanced.
Christian as a
because the deputy is a Muslim, right? The deputy governor.
Yes, a Muslim. The deputy is a Muslim.
And the governor is Muslim.
Muslim.
So balancing it with speaker makes sense.
It makes sense. Before he lost out the appeal court, it was a Muslim that was there. But the deputy was now allowed to step into that position, which was a move sanctioned by the governor.
Instead of competing for
instead of
return
saying,
to
they'll have another election and all that. So it's a thing of joy for me.
All right. So joining us is the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in Kaduna State, Reverend Hayab. Thank you for staying with us.
How are you? Good afternoon to everyone.
All right.
Good afternoon, Bishop.
How would you describe the appearance of...
Were you aware he was coming, or he did it to surprise everyone?
No, there wasn't a surprise. I think that's an angle I may want to correct. It wasn't a surprise visit. But Oba, when he came on board, after a few months, he started to getting himself out of the old fashion of attacking and being antagonistic to everybody. He started reaching out to the faith community, to the socio-cultural community, to elders and everyone. As one of you did explain, Oba has been with people for a long time. I think that is one of the key area of departure. So Oba understands relationship, Oba values relationship. Yeah. The one day told me that, you remember when Yakua was alive, I used to come around, he would take me to Yakua. I didn't even remember those stories. So you see, sometimes when people can easily appreciate past gesture, then you know they are human, they know what relationship is all about. So in one of our conversations, I told him we're going to have a Christmas carol, and he said, look, I'm going to come. But what we never did, we never wrote a letter to him, but we had a conversation over a month ago, and he promised he's going to come. I was away from the country. I arrived on Saturday night. I just sent him a text that, look, the carol is tomorrow, and he said, I am coming. And that was all. We didn't even tell people he was going to come because we are not sure. But a few hours to the event, he confirmed he has left Abuja on his way, and from Abuja straight to the venue of the meeting. So Uba have shown a good spirit, a willingness to relate and associate with the people. One of the meetings I attended recently with other religious leaders, he stood up there and said, look, I saw an ought to defend everybody. And I'm going to stand before God to give account of myself. I don't want on that day to be ashamed. None of you is going to defend me. So please allow me to be fair to everybody because I want to sleep. I don't want a situation where people will be seeing me as a bigot. So that's a true departure. And he also have gathered around him some very good lieutenants who know how to speak, what to speak. I have always reminded him that, look, your men are actually human. They know what to say. And you know, the problem with human beings is that if you don't help them, don't also insult them. If you cannot support them, don't cause them pain. The church we actually did the Christmas carol is in Sabon-Tesha. The road to that place is actually terrible. I just simply told him in church that, look, you can see the difference between where you are coming from and this church. And we are in the same Kaduna, not another different city. And that's when he stood up to say, look, he must make sure that all his activities and development goes to the rural community, so that every place in Kaduna should look the same. It must not just be one-sided that is good, and another side doesn't look good. So to us, it's a welcome development. I can say that a large number of the Christian community are happy. Yes, we may have one or two skepticism, but it is natural. For me, I'm happy that a governor can think this way. A governor can relate with his people. He could see the joy, children, women, everybody wanting to shake hands with him. What else do people need from their governor? Just identify with them, love them, show them you are with them. And that'll be all.
What is the significance of this in terms of the relationship between the two dominant religions in Kaduna State? Kaduna has been fractured by religious issues.
The truth is that I think they have the misrepresentation out there.
Yes.
We have a wonderful relationship between Christians and Muslims. We started this in 2000 after the Sharia crisis and the Miss World Beauty Pageant crisis in 2002.
Yeah.
We were able to sustain the peace from 2002 November till April 2011. That means we successfully kept peace for 9 years. Then the post-election violence that came up about Buhari and it was just not in Kaduna, but in many parts of the north, and then took us back. So what we started doing was to see how we can restore that success we have achieved for 9 years. Then Yakowa died. When Yakowa died, people became angry and other things. But somehow, in 2015, our hope is that someone like the former governor with his exposure would have come and rebuild and establish a system that will restore that gains of 9 years. Unfortunately, the kind of language we were getting from him, from those that were working for him, I think they were speaking that language because that's the language he loves. And so things became degenerated into the situation that every time you hear us just complaining, crying, either it's to Kapu today, it's Brendan Valley tomorrow, it's Khan next tomorrow. So it was like everybody was crying. I think just few voices could stood their ground and keep telling the governor, no, this is not the right way to go. So there is this relationship between Khan and JNI in Kaduna State that is so great. I remember even before the election, we agreed together that, look, anybody who wins that election, no one group will go and congratulate the other. We must go as a team. Uba was shocked the day we met with religious leaders and I told him that story, and the Muslim clerics confirmed that that was our agreement. But you know, those who have been foiling the violence prefer to hide this kind of efforts and keep magnifying the other part of division because it helps them get a lot of money, it helps them siphon a lot of funds. That's simply what it is. So they will speak language that will trigger more tension instead of solving problems. I can see that Uba understands that very well, and so he works with the two of us. Myself and the GNI chairman are working together. He's a professor. He's an age man. The parity between my age and him is far. But there's that understanding. Sometimes when I speak, you say, look, whatever chairman says, I agree with it. We went last week for the presentation of budget. The fact about it is that the moment the budget was presented by one of his commissioners, they said, no, we don't need to talk. Khan, what do you think about it? And when Khan stood up and said, look, this is our understanding, they say we concur. And that's what we've been doing. So the magnifying of that differences was deliberately done for certain reason that only those who did it can explain.
So what's your message to adherents of the two religions, especially in this season?
You see, I champion a campaign here. We call it "We Are One Family Under God," because according to the Holy Bible, the Torah, and the Holy Quran, the account of creation clearly states that men came from one ancestral origin, that is from Adam and Eve. So all of us are members of one family. I cannot see myself hating a Muslim or hating another person because he belongs to another tribe. As the current chairman of Kaduna State, my wife, her mother is the only Christian in their home, and we are of the same tribe of Southern Kaduna. Everybody in the house of my wife is a Muslim. Her mother is the only Christian. They come to my house, I go to them, we relate together. I have sponsored and taken many of my in-laws, including my friends, to Makkah. I have been known even on NTA and FRCN Kaduna to be supporting Tafsir. So I cannot see myself coming to promote division. And I know very well many Christian leaders and many imams will not like that. But you know, politicians have a way of magnifying this whole thing for certain gains. That's why when one video came out some times ago, clearly shows that that was the agenda. The agenda is divide the people to continue to pursue something you want to. But the reality is that there's no way we can be different because we go to the same market, we go to the same hospital, we have the same issue. The fact that all of us suffer the same pains and lack of job. So why divided the people? When you unite the people, it helps you a lot. But when you divide the people, you won't have the best of governance. I said it and I want to repeat here that even criminals will know that their game is over when the people are united. The division only helps criminals to have a field day to continue to do what they want to do. But let the people unite, then evil people among them will know that their game is over. So the former governor mistakenly didn't understand this and allow this division to continue to be for political gain. But I'm happy that Uba is saying, no, I prefer to have a united Kaduna than just wanting to make sure that I continue to dominate.
I want to thank you, Reverend John Hayab, the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria from Kaduna State. I want to thank you. We'll take you to Imo State.
Thank you also for having me.
Thank you for staying with us. We'll take you to Imo State now, southeast Nigeria, where they are having their Christmas carol. We'll be right back. Join us on our other platforms. All right, Jide, religion should not play any role.
At least it should not be used to divide us.
At all.
It should not be used to divide us. It makes absolutely no sense. It's barbaric. It makes no sense. And Obasane has shown the way. I want to see other governors, Muslim governors, Christian governors, take the example that Obasane has shown. Kaduna used to be like Lagos. There's hardly any family that will not have at least one person resident in Kaduna. Kaduna was such a beautiful place. But some people turned our Kaduna. You know, I was born in this state. So I was born in Zaria. I was born in Wusasa Hospital, Zaria. And what I want to see is a Kaduna that is prosperous, that continues to grow in leaps and bounds, and that continues to benefit from good governance. Good governance that does not alienate the people. That is what we want to see. And the governor has shown the way, and I'm happy that even the camp people who used to be terribly opposed to the status quo in the state, they are happy with him. They are happy with what he has done. That gesture is significant, it's symbolic. And whoever told the governor to do that gave him a good advice.
Tony?
Yes. It shows that it shows that we can actually do things better. And it tells us that the majority of our problems are man-made, are made by politicians. Another steps out. One steps out, another steps in. It's correcting it, which means these are things we cause, by ourselves. We can actually bring peace, development, and growth to states if we mean it. If we do not mean it, we do things to cause division. And for a reason, El-Rufai stood on it for 8 years. Now he's gone, a new governor is coming, and I'm happy. Because you could see the way the chairman is, is talking. It can't happen before. It's like a new day. He has embraced the governor already. The states, Christians have embraced the governor. As against the other one that divided it, and with so much impunity and, without even recourse to any, with respect to anybody. This is what should be. You are a governor of a state to bring everybody together, to unite the state, not to say this is better than this, I would take care of this, I won't take care. No, it won't grow. That is not how the country will grow. Kaduna plays a very significant role in the country's growth. Anything that happens in Kaduna touches this country. And when it comes to religion, we have to be very careful about it.
All right.
I pray it sustains it.
Moving on now. In our society, mudslinging, scheming, and manipulation define politics. A former national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Adams Oshiomhole, has revealed how former governors of Ekiti and Ogun states, Kayode Fayemi and Ibikule Amosu, as well as the former national vice chairman, northwest of the party, Saliu Lukman, plotted his removal from office. At the launch of a book in Abuja titled APC and the Transition Politics, authored by Saliu Lukman, Oshomole recounted how Lukman and some governors spearheaded the campaign that led to his illegal removal from office as APC national chairman. Judy, this is interesting.
Oshomole will eternally be a stubborn man. You cannot predict his actions. It's as tough as nails. He went to attend
somebody's book launch,
and he served breakfast to the person who is launching.
I remember what he did.
He added him to the list. You see, the truth is, it's not just those two individuals. He saw that Karo the fireman was there. He chose that occasion to serve him breakfast as well. Those are not the two. And the governors came up. The governors ganged up against him. The governors ganged up. But at the end of the day, he deliberately singled out a few people for reasons best known to him. And he made the point clear. So what we already knew, that they were doing all that because they felt that this person was loyal to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that it was Bola Ahmed Tinubu that brought him. You know? He said something that the former president refused to intervene. He allowed them to do what they were doing to him. You got ward executive to suspend your own national chairman. That's the extent to which those governors went. All because of the struggle for power. They wanted to get him out of the way.
And they needed to get him out of the way so that the coast will not be clear for the...
They want, you know, it was not broken nonsense. There are many things. Yes, you can say Oshomole is high-handed, but he clearly was not broken nonsense. There are certain things that he would not tolerate. And he will remind them that, look, I've been a governor like you. I was a two-term governor. What are you talking about? Look at the way he described how they find me. He said, you failed the test.
I did it.
You had a receipt.
I did.
What he meant by receipt was that he lost election. He said in his own case, he never lost that.
He went straight.
That you had a receipt. That means he came back to now to now contest again. That's what he called a receipt. And to be telling them the whole truth in their presence. Today, the takeaway from what he was saying to Saliu Lukman, you know, it's we Yorubas who call them Lukman. The Hausas call it Lukman. So that next time when you want to call his name, it will sound odd to them. It's our own, you know, our own, we use M-O-N, Lukman. Lukman. Their own is Lukman. So Saliu Lukman has been a victim of high-handedness of APC leaders. So Shomole was reminding him that what goes around, you too are a victim today. Because he's been talking about the need for order within the APC, the need for party discipline within the APC. He has been a victim as well. So Shomole was reminding him, okay, you join them.
Was that the DG APC Governors Forum?
Yes. He said when they created the thing that he did not even know, that nobody told him, the governors just told him, look, we are in charge. They are in charge. They are just like they are battle generals. So what are you talking about? But it felt odd because he was a governor like them. You see, you remember my interview with the governor of Yobe State? He said sometimes when they are talking to him, he would now say, I'm your colleague. I'm not just party chairman, I'm your colleague. I needed to be reminding some of the governors. It's the contestation for power. Everybody wants to make sure that, yes, he's strong in the state, nobody comes close and all that. When he was saying, you mentioned those two people, the governors were generally against him. Maybe some were pretending to him, but they were generally against him. And they didn't stop there. Those APC governors came together to make sure their party lost in Edo State. They worked against their party in Edo State. They cannot swear if they give them a Bible or Holy Quran. They can't say they did not work against their party. Some of the things they did, we know. Just to make sure that Oshomole was well disgraced. You know? And they were also plotting to even rig in Oshomole's home local government, in the senatorial
Make sure
zone.
he fails.
They wanted to rig him out, even there. At least let him even win a small distance. They were that desperate. But what he failed to realize when he said that the former president did not intervene, did not try to help him, the former president was clearly wanted Oshomole out of the way, because he said something in that interview with a TV station where he said that it shouldn't be a situation in which the national chairman will be in Abuja and is taking instruction from someone in Lagos. You remember?
I remember.
Now, it looks like a Freudian slip. It looks like a Freudian slip.
But
because
but
it came from the depth of his heart, just the way he was thinking. What he said was like a Freudian slip. Freudian slip will happen. You are not planning to say, but it drops. You know, so it gave me a window into the heart of the president and how he was thinking at that time. But it is tribute to Asiwaju that, in spite of all that, he was still able to
all the calculations.
President Buhari said he was going to appear in 10 campaign grounds to campaign for Asiwaju. Some of those venues, he stayed away. They had to remind him that your party is contesting. You said you go to 10 places. You are already missing some of them now. And he was supposed to be in Kwara.
What did he say?
You know, he was supposed to be in Kwara. You know, so he now had to, you know, he now had to go to Nasarawa State to say, this is the candidate that I support. Support him, vote for him. He now had to, it was in Nasarawa State that eventually had to openly.
I think it was compelled to.
Yes, because when you look at what transpired in Jos, it was like him not even attending at all. He was there, but
just there.
You know. So in his heart, the way he was behaving, you could tell that he did not particularly want that person. Maybe he changed later on.
And he noticed the attraction.
But he did not particularly want that person because he would have supported Oshomole. But the notion that it was Asiwaju that brought him and Oshomole will help Asiwaju was what made some of them to rally around and fight Oshomole and kick them out of the way.
Tony, our politics is driven by just interest.
Simply interest. Simply interest.
It was what was convenient at that time.
It was, you know, it's simply interest. Because just as Jide was saying, you know, just recalling, and as he was saying, putting all those things together, just reminding us, because it was just yesterday here. I watched Oshomole. Oshomole is still very angry with them.
Yes.
You know, and he's looking for every opportunity to say it. You know, because the people he trusted betrayed him. People he thought...
Fellow governors.
Yeah. You know, just fellow governors, people he thought would be behind him to give him all the support, betrayed him, and he did it openly. So he knows them. You know, so and you know Oshomole very well. He doesn't hold back. He will tell you straight to your face. You know, even the host of the event, the book, the author of the book, he took the guy to the cleaners too. You know, that is Oshomole for you. And at times we need to say these things. You know his mind. He's not holding back. At that point, a lot of politics was playing out. Things were happening. And in his mind, it was disgrace. But for me, I think Oshomole did well for the party. And in their mind, they thought maybe they humiliated him. But everybody knows Oshomole knows that.
He led the party to victory.
You know, yeah. If as NLC president, anywhere Oshomole is, you will feel his presence. He did his best in Edo State. When he was in APC as chairman, he asserted his position even more than people who succeeded him. When he sat on that chair, they knew any chairman stepped in. You know, he did his best for the party, and that was why they wanted him out, because they know with Oshomole there, you know, it's not a pushover. You know, so you should be very careful with the way you play politics. That's all I can say.
One other lesson from this one is that, you know, power is transcendent.
Exactly.
Strong men of yesterday, chairman of Governors Forum, people that could take decisions that could affect the party and everything. Today, they're just there.
Sometimes we don't read about them. You're asking, where has he gone?
That's in.
So, and Shomole, there was something of interest to me. What Kawde said that Ganduje should not tell Asiwaju. Should tell Asiwaju the truth, not what he wants to hear. He should tell him.
Yes, I don't understand what's the meaning of that.
What they are saying on the streets. You know, Asiwaju does not need Ganduje to tell him anything. Asiwaju himself is a street man. That's why they are calling him city boy. He has his way of knowing what people are going through. It's always been like that. So you don't need a Kawde to be telling Ganduje, tell him what is happening on the streets. Don't tell him what he wants to hear. Asiwaju is not that kind of person. Even if he gives you a job, he will still find a way to monitor you and ensure that you deliver the best. Things may be tough at this time, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't know. The question is, what is the alternative? For us to allow subsidy to remain so that the nation can go bankrupt, will become another...
and if somebody like that want to advise Mr. President, they know the channel they can use to, not that fora. They are close to him. They are party members.
I don't know. Just what, as I've said, he's not that sort of person that enjoys people simply hailing him what he wants to hear. No. That's not, and even his cabinet, people like Dele Alake will tell you, Dele and Co were among the people used to argue with him the most at meetings. But he didn't hate them on account of that. He's interested in what he can take out of that argument. He's happy to see people argue with him, but he will listen to everyone and take what's best from those arguments. So there's no need for him to tell Ganduje, tell him what is going on the street. If Ganduje can know what's going on the street, Asiwaju too can know.
More than, yeah.
Because it's that kind of person. Today they are taking some steps to ease the pain. This pain will be there for some time. But it's not as if the government is wicked, the government is unconcerned. No. There's no need to say all that. Even here, and we know he watches us a lot. He's been watching us for years. We tell him the truth, we tell him what we think he should do, and he will decide at the appropriate time, and most of the time he does what we have advised him to do because he knows that we tell him the truth. So that is the way it is. Shomole is, it's just an impossible man. He chose that occasion to go and take pot shots at people who ganged up against him. If many of them were there, we would have been mentioning their names one after another.
That's one thing I like about him, though.
All right. The gladiators involved in the 8-point resolution ending the political crisis that rocked Rivers State are beginning to walk the talk. Members of the State House of Assembly have withdrawn the impeachment notice served on Governor Siminalayi Fubara. However, the leadership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, noted that there is no remedy for the 25 PDP House of Assembly members who recently defected to the All Progressive Congress, APC. President Bola Tinubu's intervention notwithstanding, the national chairman of the PDP, Iliya Damagun, insists that there is no crisis in the party at the national and state levels. Let's hear from the lawmakers.
Proceeding with this course of action following the agreements reached after a reconciliatory meeting convened by His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, on the 18th day of December 2023. We have immense respect for the person and office of the President of our dear country, and do believe that his advice and charge should be respected. We remain committed to our promises to our various constituencies and would continue to render our best to them with God on our side. And please, Mr. Speaker, do convey our gratitude to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, for his fatherly rule and commendable commitment to the unity of this country and enduring peace in Rivers State in particular.
Let me say this to my dear states. I call you my dear state because the support you have shown within this period is unmeasurable. From quarters, ordinarily, I don't even have any contact with them, but they have stood by us. I want you to know that there is no amount that is too big to pay for peace. I'll continue to pay it. Thank you.
Wow. The surprise.
It makes sense for the governor to say that. And if the governor has accepted the terms, I wonder why we are having this head banging on the wall by other people who are not even, whom the matter shouldn't be their concern. So the governor has, the governor is central to this whole crisis.
And they signed.
Everything resolved.
The people that attended the meeting signed.
Yes. Not that they put a gun to their heads to sign. They agreed. They want peace. You have to make sacrifices. The problem with us is that there's a problem, people dig in. You don't want to make concessions and you want the crisis to end. How will it end? How will it end? The governor reached out to the president. Sir, intervene. Even before those leaders decided that, they decided to invite the president, the governor reached out to the president. That is the fact. Intervene, sir. The president is the father of all. Why are people saying that, his intervention is unlawful? And we had been reading that, is this how he will be looking at this matter? Is it because it's rivers? He intervened in Ogun. Why won't he, intervene in Ondo? Why is he not intervening in rivers? We had them saying it. Later now, the man intervened. We have peace. They are now saying, his intervention is illegal. He has no power to intervene. Is this, is that? Come on. What is our problem, for God's sake? Are people not happy that these people are back together? Are people, PDP, your party has crisis. You can't muster any effort to resolve it. It's like the PDP leadership, the ESCO, the National ESCO just exists in name. Because this normally should be what the working committee of the party will be resolving. The president shouldn't even get involved. But the president had to step in because the PDP leadership didn't show leadership. They should tell us how they showed leadership. They didn't get involved.
What is in disarray?
They didn't get involved. Now another person gets involved. You are now saying his intervention is illegal. Let the court decide. If you are saying no, the lawmakers have no right to defect, probably they don't have any right to defect, but you are not the court. Let the court decide. Let the court decide whether they've lost their seats. You're just months to the last general election, if you see how many people defected from the National Assembly to another party. Some, because they lost the ticket of their party, they will defect. We didn't hear this kind of argument, that they will lose their seat. On the floor of the National Assembly, do we not see them? And they will cross to the other side. Did they lose their seat? Even the current Senate president, he defected from PDP now to APC. Abi? Did he lose his seat? Did Akpabio lose his seat? So and there are many of them like that, especially in the National Assembly.
Tony, some are even kicking that. How come the lawmakers were able to defect to the All Progressive Congress and every other thing was reversed? But they weren't able to tell the lawmakers, go back to PDP.
In that resolution, you mean?
Yes.
It's not. I was surprised. It's not captured. Maybe they will do that.
It's not there.
But that should be a condition, though.
That's okay.
Because
every other thing was.
Yeah, I'm sure maybe it's an omission because it has to be there.
But the PDP guys are now saying that.
You see, just as Jide was saying, PDP is PDP. I don't think PDP still exists. If you look at this whole thing now, tell me where's the place for PDP here? The governor has been facing crisis. Did you see the PDP around?
They did not try to
You think
help
maybe they pay a cost visit or something? Like a solidarity is nothing.
Nothing.
It tells you that it tells you that Wike has been the sole, let's say the sole person holding this party before now. If Wike was still in PDP, I'm telling you, nothing. This kind of even don't happen. Before Atiku came into the party for the presidential ticket, and he got it, and since after that last election, PDP has been in one problem or the other internally, and nobody is speaking for them. Unlike when Wike was there. Wike was occasionally, he's overappearing. But that was what kept PDP as a party. Since he defected, I won't say defected. Since the issue is happening, because it's one leg is going to be in that party. Since the problem
is legs are still in PDP.
Wherever the leg is, the fact is that Wike was holding that party together. And now it's not fooling the party. You can see what's going on. I heard the party chairman yesterday. I don't know. I can't pick one or two things he said regarding what's happening in Rivers. It tells you that the party doesn't know.
Even when this whole thing happened and the governor felt isolated by his political godfather, shouldn't the PDP leadership have paid him?
That's exactly what they just said now. They
okay, we are with you, this and that, to make him feel that yes, this is a party that loves him.
It didn't do that.
They didn't do that. Then when somebody now intervened, they are all now issuing press statement, this and that. Lamido was even saying that if they don't want to be leaders again, they should give up their...
Simple, but it's the truth.
No. There is a glaring absence of leadership
in PDP.
It's not leadership is not for your PR person to issue statements abusing people. No, that's not leadership. At this time, you should have been first to arrive in Rivers to say, Siminalayi Fubara, we stand by you.
Yeah.
That way, he will feel tomorrow. Don't be surprised if Fubara joins APC.
You blame him.
Would you blame him? I won't blame him. Because his own party has abandoned
They left him in the cold. So
now you are saying, 27 or those 27 people. Okay, if those people leave, is that the end of the crisis? That seems to be the only thing they are talking about. They are not talking about how to protect this governor.
They are not interested in that.
Because the governor doesn't, even if Wike leaves
the chairman today, attended that peace meeting.
Even if Wike leaves today, the governor doesn't have to leave the party with him. We've seen people now who refuse to even go with their governor, or vice versa. So why won't they step in and say, okay, this is our party, this is what we can do? From the beginning, they didn't try to solve anything.
As far as I'm concerned, PDP doesn't exist anymore. And Atiku seems to be just, it's just sitting down.
No, his own Atiku.
It's just to come and take all presidential tickets, and that's it.
To him, that is what PDP is useful for. To provide him a ticket to contest the election. In 4 years, he's back to gun for that ticket. He believes it is his birthright.
It's only Wike that was holding that party.
They will not talk now.
It's simple now. It's not clear.
It's
simple now. It's clear.
That election is approaching.
Without this over, you see him say anything. It's clear. That's all he's interested in. Take that ticket. After you just go.
Yeah, to show leadership, you are blaming someone for stepping in. And you people had the opportunity, you didn't resolve it. People are saying, why should an APC person be resolving?
When your party failed, what happened?
But what do they expect him to do?
He was inside that meeting. He was
people are threatening to bomb oil installation. So a president will fold his hands. Before they bomb oil installations, we are struggling. We can't meet our open quota. You want him to fold his arms and watch them. If they go now, if they attack the refinery that we've been spending money trying to revive.
They won't do that.
What are we going to get from that? Huh?
They won't do that.
Don't say
they're just grandstanding. They're grandstanding because for all reason.
There was a time when just because Tompolo, they wanted to put Tompolo on trial, they were bombing export terminals. some of them, if you see, they have the capacity to get to the deepest of the high sea. Don't joke with them. They understand the sea. They understand the sea. So, because they were born in it, don't take their threats lightly. I know what Nigeria lost during that period, honestly, and we had to make peace. Diplomacy. You have to make peace. People, the former VP, and then the former Minister of State for Petroleum, Ibe Kachuku, and the rest of them, they had to call them. And our oil output went up again.
I remember.
And since that time, we've had relative peace. It's not everything you can use force for. We were sending soldiers there, they didn't achieve anything.
It's true, sure.
Because oil pipelines crisscross communities. You see children even running on top of pipelines. You know, so you need, easily breach them. Where you have pipelines lying on the surface of the earth, they can easily breach them. What are we going to do? And they know where the export terminals are. And they are going there. There was one that shocked me. That terminal is somewhere in Akwa Ibom State. They located it and sabotaged it. They nearly brought Nigeria to its knees.
You know where this thing is.
So the president cannot allow that to happen.
Do you see an end to this crisis?
The River State needs peace. You know, I understand what the governor is saying. I know he's under pressure. But the ultimate goal is peace in River State. You know, went to elephant fights. Nyesom Wike, Minister of FCT, and then the governor of the state. River State is not a small state. If the two of them fight, it is the people that will suffer.
Yes.
Governors.
So the people should be factored into all this. Whatever the issues are, there are no disagreement that cannot be sorted. Conflicts like this, you know, politically or otherwise. But the ultimate goal for Nigeria is that we want peace in rivers. And for the president stepping in, it's very important. We want peace in rivers, not war. Not war. And I pray we get it with this president.
Whichever way that peace will come,
we
will appreciate it. I understand what the governor is saying, that he's prepared to make that sacrifice. No one should blame him in future if anything happens again. Because he has made sacrifices. He's ready. He said he's ready to make any sacrifice in the interest of peace. So he's ready to make concessions. It's an emotional thing for him. But he's a young man. He will learn from it. He will get better as a politician. You know, this is...
Still learning the ropes, though.
I want to thank you, Tony Waje.
Thank
you for your contribution.
Thank you.
And BKO, thank you for your contribution today. And I'd like to thank our viewers online too. Thank you, our viewers on YouTube.
For standing by us.
YouTube is buzzing. Thank you. Just keep the comments coming.
Always waiting for us, and we appreciate it. They say you no longer watch us, but the facts say the contrary.
Thank you. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us this Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubako. See you tomorrow.
It's the most visited state in Africa. As the fifth largest economy on the continent, covering Lagos and its government is no mean feat. It's a busy beat. We go beyond the cutting of tapes to traveling far into the deep.
I want to thank the Lagos State government for the healthcare facility.
To bring stories that cut across all spectrums.
A greater Lagos shall be ours.
Stories that define our collective well-being as Lagosians. I'm Adedoja Salamadeni. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Akiwande Oluwole Soyinka was born on 13th July 1934 in Abeokuta, Nigeria, to parents Samuel and Grace Soyinka. His education began with the Christian lessons of his parents as well as the more traditional Yoruba spiritual customs taught to him by his grandfather. He had his preparatory university studies at Government College Ibadan in 1954, subsequently University College Ibadan, and he continued at the University of Leeds, earned a bachelor's degree in English literature. Soyinka's master's degree focused on projects combining his Yoruba culture with traditional British theatre traditions. He later returned to school in Nigeria to study African theatre, during which time he continued to produce poems and plays, one of which appeared on Nigerian television. Shortly after he became the chief of the Cathedral of Drama at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria had only recently gained independence from Britain and political corruption was at a high. Soyinka's plays and poems became increasingly political and he began giving speeches protesting government corruption. He was accused of conspiring with the Biafra rebels. He was therefore arrested and imprisoned in 1967 for almost 2 years during the Civil War, but managed during his time to write numerous poems. He was finally released in 1969 after a brief period in France. He returned to his position at the university where he founded the magazine Black Orpheus. He left his position and Nigeria in 1971, wary of the political climate of the country. During this time, he published books of poetry and essays. His plays were collected and published, and newer plays were staged. In 1986, he was the first African to win the Nobel Prize in Literature for a wide cultural perspective and with poetic overtones fashioning the drama of existence. He dedicated his acceptance speech to Nelson Mandela and used the platform to criticize apartheid. Later that same year, Soyinka was awarded the Ajib Prize and in 1988 published his book Mandela's Earth and other poems as well as art, dialogue, and outrage, essays on literature and culture. He also accepted a position at Cornell University. Throughout his life, he has served as a spokesman against apartheid and government corruption. He has won numerous other awards for his work, including the Anisfield Wolf Book Award, the Academy of Achievement Golden Plate Award, and the Ajib Prize for Literature, and he has taught at many prestigious universities, including Emory University, Harvard, and Obafemi Awolowo University. In his lifetime, Soyinka has published 2 novels, 3 collections of short stories, made 3 movies, translated 2 novels, 5 memoirs, 7 poetry collections, 13 essay collections, and produced nearly 30 plays. He holds honorary doctorates from numerous universities and has been invited to teach in schools around the world. He continues to write prolifically in spite of a bout with prostate cancer in 2014. Wole Soyinka, the Nigerian playwright and political activist, has positioned himself as a voice of the voiceless through his piece of art. He has distinguished himself as the African icon that continuously makes a mark in African literature and the world at large.
In the month of December, the 1st is World AIDS Day, while the 2nd of December is International Day for the Abolition of Slavery. On the 3rd is International Day of Persons with Disabilities. On the 4th of December, attention shifts as the day is dedicated to World Wildlife Conservation. The 7th is International Civil Aviation Day, and on the 9th is International Anti-Corruption Day. On the 10th is Human Rights Day, and on the 21st is World Basketball Day. 25th is Christmas Day, when Christians celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. The day after is Boxing Day, which is on the 26th, and on the 31st is New Year's Eve. Brace yourself and tune in to TVC News for in-depth reporting and analysis on these days. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Welcome to the program, everyone. We'll begin in the nation's capital, where President Bola Tinubu has approved the reduction of fares for interstate public transportation ahead of the Yuletide. Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, announced this when he addressed a press conference today on the presidential intervention in public transportation. Mr. Alake says the intervention will commence on 21st of December and end on the 4th of January next year.
In the spirit of Christmas and the end of year festivities, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, in another demonstration of his love for Nigerians, has approved that the federal government should intervene to bring down the cost of public transportation to allow our compatriots